Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode we're going to be checking out a piece by the established AI generative artist known as HxAI. This episode we're going to be talking about this incredible visual energy here. We're going to talk about implied motion, and we're also going to talk about the spirit of transformation and revelation. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, you know with you have a single subject here, a bird set in center. Certainly a very striking introduction. You're not going to miss it, and you're kind of met face to face with that subject. And so we do see a bird set in center here. This is very important, of course. When an element of a piece of art is set in center, it's always going to feel like everything revolves around it. So it certainly draws the eye in towards that central region and of course onto the visual impact of the subject itself. So all very important. And it is accented. Of course, we have this kind of midnight black background. So it is accented, this light on dark contrast really accents the form. Of course, it pops out at us. It's just unmistakable. You're not going to miss it. And so we also see a near symmetrical spatial composition as well. This is kind of mirrored across that vertical axis here. So I don't say perfect symmetry because there is a bit of deviation. Of course, you look very specific, kind of very minute variations in that. But all in all, of course, near symmetrical spatial composition, it is going to give us a sense of harmony within the work at hand. Of course, there is a lot of energy, so you're not going to miss that. But all in all, there is kind of a harmonious placement. So there is a sense of order within the work at hand. Of course, near symmetrical on either side there. And then in the realm of color, we kind of have a kind of close complementary. We have that orange and blue. Both of those are working really closely together, of course. They also catalyze the effect of each other because you have, of course, that incredible resounding radiance of this fire. It also illuminates a bit of that darker blue as well. So they're kind of working off of each other, but there's no doubt that that orange, it's the most vibrant most vibrant color within the work at hand for sure. And so in the realm of texture, we have a bit of variation. You have that kind of light ruffling feathers, but then you also have harsh kind of smoke area and all those sparks going off as well. So incredible amount of texture within the work at hand. It also creates a very dynamic display, of course. Lots of motion, lots of energy within the work at hand. It's going to be inherent to that kind of sense of fire. So really important whenever we're looking at this work. And of course, constant curves, whether you see it in the wings, the ascendant, or the descendant region of the spatial composition, it's going to give us a sense of implied motion. So not only does this kind of brilliant radiance add to the energy within the work at hand, but also the curves give us a sense of implied motion or kind of this potential energy that is opening of the wings there. So all very important. Really invigorates the spatial composition. And so whenever someone looks at this work, they're likely going to see one as pure magic. So you see this kind of fluorescence, and of course, you don't see a firebird. That's not something normal. So it is going to feel divine. It's going to feel, greater than life, metaphysical. So that kind of looks like pixie dust, but those really kind of flares or sparks all intersecting. But that does invigorate the composition, like I said, with incredible energy and of course, very charming composition as well. All very important when we're looking at this work. And so we're certainly looking at a divine display here. Of course, you don't see a kind of bird on fire in our normal day-to-day life. This is going to be the symbol of redemption, revelation, transformation. We're going to go a bit deeper that here in a second, but there's no doubt that we're looking at kind of a divine display, a very metaphysical masterpiece. And so this is the phoenix, and it's actually the Greek word for revelation, so it is not the kind of original Egyptian phoenix. Although, even before that, it's likely that, people were talking about firebirds or symbols of transformation for much longer. So to attribute it to the Greeks or to attribute it to the Egyptians, not entirely accurate because it goes so much longer before both of those cultures. So I do have another work we're going to reference here in a second, but I just want to talk about the incredible transformation of the phoenix itself. You can draw multiple metaphors from that, right? Anything from life and death, anything from kind of the sun setting and the moon rising and then the sun rising once again, all really good metaphors you could draw from that. Even changing one's mind, personal growth. The phoenix can be represented in so many different ways. So that's incredibly important. And so the title of this work, I forgot to bring it in here, but it is the Greek word for revelation. So I did a bit of study and got that translated. So revelation, right? Revelation in context of the phoenix. We got to think about that. So revelation is for something to surface anew, for a new idea or kind of an epiphany of sorts, right? So with that in mind, when you have a new idea, there is that transformation or that rebirth. So the phoenix certainly applies to the idea of revelation. So it kind of surfaces up. There is kind of that element of rebirth in kind of changing one's mind or having a new idea because we have to shed. There is kind of a death of the old and a kind of bringing in of the new as well. So all very important when we're looking at this work. So I have another work that we showcase. Both are actually AI generative works, and we're going to see what we can learn here. Alright, so on the right, I have the work that we showcased today, and then on the left, we actually have the Midjourney work as well. So both are displaying a phoenix of sorts, so you have that fire bird, and then both almost seem like a sense of duality here. Of course, you have that dark background on the right, and you have that much more lighter background on the left, but both are displaying this kind of release of energy. Of course, you have those curves, you have that incredible vibrance of the energy of the fire. There's so many different things you could point to here. Bit of near symmetry in the spatial composition here. Of course, much more symmetry on the one on the right, but both are trying to display a symbol of transformation, a symbol of kind of rebirth, and we certainly see that in both with the phoenix. Such an ancient symbol and a very important one at that. And so, like I said, this is an AI generative artwork, so it was made in an AI program, and that program is going to be Midjourney. So Midjourney really allows kind of perfect intersection of power and kind of accessibility, right? You can go into their Discord server, you can go /imagine and create whatever you'd like, but really good accessibility. We have artists all the way from very experienced AI generative artists all the way to very new AI generative artists. They're all utilizing Midjourney. So if you're someone who wants to get into it, or you dabble a little bit in the AI generative world, I would certainly suggest checking out Midjourney. So hope y'all enjoyed today's work. Like I said, it's coming from the artist HxAI, also known as A. Ellis. So if y'all enjoyed this work, go check out that artist's other stuff. Always doing some really good stuff. I talked to the original artist a bit, and the artist said that, this showcase really helped the artist kind of get back into that creative endeavor. So always love kind of inspiring, hoping to create more stuff, and that's really what we hope to do. So I hope y'all enjoyed today. Go check out the original artist. Like I said, always doing some good stuff. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.